Good day all, welcome back to South Africa, and this is South African Prepper. So 6th of January 2025. So Happy New Year to everybody, and Happy New Year from us South Africans to all of our friends around the world. So I've been asked to make another prepping video. So before we start with the prepping video, I see that it seems like fake news, some kind of another pandemic going on in China, but at this stage it seems to be actually fake news. So if you know anything more than I know, please leave a comment. But it seems like if it is not fake news, that they want to do a COVID 2.0. Interesting, eh? So 5 categories for preparedness or prepping. We use these basic guidelines, or 5 categories, in which we then have subcategories within the category to make prepping a little bit easier for us. So let's talk about the 5 categories, and I think it's almost in order. So from most important to, I would say, least important, although all of these categories are important. So number 1 on the list is water, and then the subcategories for water is storing water, filtering water, and then catching water. So you need to be able to filter water, you'll need able to store water, and you need to be able to catch water. So 3 different ways of preparing for water. So you can live without food for 3 weeks, but you cannot live without water for 3 days. So water for us is extremely important. So on my list, that is number 1. And then list number 2, or category number 2, I would say is, and a lot of people are going to debate about this, but for us it's self-defense. Now again, there are subcategories for self-defense. You can have weapons training, different types of weapons training, firearms, knives, and all of those things. And then self-defense, something like Krav Maga, or one of the martial arts type, where you can actually self-defend yourself with your hands. But the most important weapon for self-defense is to avoid. If you're going to end up in an anarchy situation, or a situation like we had in South Africa, you all remember KZN 2021, it is best to avoid, because if you avoid, nothing will happen to you. But as soon as you try to engage, the chances of something happening to you is very good. So avoidance do fall within a category of self-defense, and this is nothing to do with being a coward. It has got nothing to do with hiding away. It has all got to do with survival. Okay. And then category number 3 for us, that is the food category, or we have defined it into the dry food category. So those are foodstuffs that are dry, something like rice or dried beans, or any of your maize or your wheats, things that are actually dry that will last a fairly long time. Now we've put into this category, we've also added your freeze-dried food, and then your MREs, food that will last, quite a long time, 10 years and plus. Okay, so that is the category, or number 3, the category food or dried fruit, food. And then category number 4 for us is we call it the first aid category. So this is the category where you are preparing for when there's injuries. In this category, you will carry your medication that you use quite often. So if you have chronic medication needs, you need to prepare for that. Things like gunshot kits, bandages, headache pills, anything medical wise, we call this the first aid category. But anything that you might need pertaining to a medical situation. And then category number 5 is what we call the survival category. This is more a skills category, so all of the skills that you need to survive, anything from building shelters to making fire, all the skills that you're going to need to be living outdoors. Now, living outdoors is definitely much harder than living indoors. Going camping over the weekend, take that and then make that permanent, and you'll realize that living outdoor is extremely harsh and is extremely difficult. And this is why we've named our category number 5 the survival category, where you teach yourself those skills that you don't use every single day because you live in a house and you've got electricity and you've got running water. You're going to be needing skills when you live outdoor permanently if the situation arises. So those are then the 5 categories to which we prepare. I'll sum it up again for you. Number 1 is water. Number 2 is self-defense. Number 3 is dry food. Number 4 is our first aid category, and then category number 5 is then your survival skills. This is South African Prepper. God bless.